And airlines and booking sites like Expedia and Priceline all ending lower today. Union workers at Wisconsin-based Kohler, the kitchen and bath faucet maker, on strike today for the first time in 30 years. After workers rejected the latest contract offer from the firm, workers say they haven't had a raise in 6 years. Marriott International is spending more than $12 billion to acquire rival hotel chain Starwood, the owner of names like Sheraton, St. Regis, and other brands. And Taco Bell, the latest fast food chain, switching to cage-free eggs by the end of next year. Tom Busby, CM.
There are no guarantees in love, but there is a guarantee from EH Plus by eHarmony, our new personal matchmaking service. At EH Plus, your own personal matchmaker gets to know you so well, we can guarantee introductions that will be satisfying and exciting. EH Plus goes far beyond regular online dating sites, and that's a guarantee. Visit us at ehplus.com/love or call 1-855-930-LOVE.
If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish and see what real value is. Call 877-319-6988. You can also save a bundle when you combine DishNet high-speed internet with your TV service. Call 877-319-6988. Programming starting as little as $29.99, plus access to thousands of movies and TV shows. Stream to your TV, smartphone, or tablet. Call 877-319-6988. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get Dish today. Go.
Consider this your invitation to sell. At buysellmakeoffer.com, you can sell as much as you want for the next 60 days without paying any fees whatsoever. Sound incredible? It is, and it's true. Buysellmakeoffer.com is the new exciting way to sell your stuff online. Make extra money right now. Sell your old car, furniture, video games, household items, clothes, even your home. Sell anything that's legal. Load up your stuff to sell right now at buysellmakeoffer.com. This is your official invitation to get on board to sell your stuff right now. Free for the next 60 days. And once you see how easy it is, you'll want to sign up for more because there are no item fees. That's right. Take this opportunity to move items from the other guys and sell it for free. You might even win a Samsung tablet, Amazon gift cards, and other cool prizes. BuySellMakeOffer.com is the future of online selling. You can use Skype to talk to your buyer or seller. Plus, you can use video to showcase your items. BuySellMakeOffer.com. Are you thirsty for books that will fill your soul with wisdom, joy, and inspiration? Then take a refreshing and nourishing drink at Alice's Quiet Mind Bookstore, located in the heart of the Agape International Spiritual Center in Culver City, which incidentally was recently featured on The Today Show. From aromatic soy candles to best-selling authors like Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith and a whole host of other visionaries, Alice's Quiet Mind Bookstore has everything to soothe your body, spirit, and soul. For more info and directions, visit agapelive.com today.
Good afternoon. It's 3:03. I'm Di Rice with the very latest in live local news here on Kcaa 1050 AM and 106.5 FM. Eagles of Death Metal, the Inland Empire Rockers, whose concert in Paris turned into a massacre, cut short a European tour and returned home. The band from Palm Desert, known for more of its raunchy humor than any political inclination, ended a European tour that had been due to run to December 10th in Portugal. The Deftones, another California band that had been present Friday night at the Bataclan Concert Hall in Paris, will also return home. Known for experimental metal, the Deftones had 3 shows scheduled at the Bataclan from Saturday to Monday. The group was in the audience Friday after posting pictures of Paris tour sites on social media. The band itself was reported to be safe. Despite its name, Eagles of Death Metal plays bluesy garage rock, not death metal. The band has collaborated with top artists, including Dave Grohl of Nirvana and Foo Fighters fame. The band has 2 consistent members, 43-year-old David Hughes, the brother of frontman Jesse Hughes, and 42-year-old Josh Homme, who is also known for his band Queen of the Stone Age. And San Bernardino County Sheriff deputies arrested a 22-year-old man on suspicion of stabbing another man yesterday on 6th Street near Bonnie in Highland. Raul Martinez was arrested and booked into Central Detention Center on suspicion of attempted murder after sheriff deputies found the victim suffering life-threatening stab wounds. The victim was taken to the emergency room for treatment of his wounds. Martinez is alleged to have stalked the victim and then stabbed him over the victim denying his request for a cigarette. Bail for Martinez is set at $1 million. Inland Empire weather. Mostly sunny today, but still quite chilly out there. Highs expected to reach about 63. We are going down now. I think we hit about 61 here in San Bernardino. Tomorrow we're expected to be still breezy, but high of 74, so a lot warmer. And then by Wednesday, we should be warming up to the low 80s. Looking at your drive, there's just stop and go on the 15 southbound between the 10 and Harupa, and then the north is very slow in pockets from the 60 to 4th Street. And that is the very latest with news, weather, and traffic on the station that leaves no listener behind. KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM with Foster to Foster next.
Brought to you by Covered California. It's more than just healthcare, it's life care. Find free local in-person help or enroll online today at coveredca.com.
Welcome to Foster, and now here's your host, Dr. Anissa McNeil.
Good afternoon, listeners. This is Dr. McNeil, and welcome to Foster Radio Show. Today, we have special guests with us. Today, we have Kcaa of Los Angeles online for our show today. So why today do we have Kcaa of LA here? Well, recently in Los Angeles, I had a very young foster child ask me, Dr. McNeil, what is a Kcaa? What do you do as a Kcaa? And how can I get a Kcaa? So I thought there's no other way, a very special way that I could answer this question for this very young foster youth who happened to be a girl. Kcaa of Los Angeles is very close to my heart. I've been a part of that organization for over a decade. So today we're going to answer those three questions. What is a Kcaa? What do they do? And how can I get a Kcaa? So that is the purpose of our show today. But before we dive in and we talk to the wonderful individuals at Kcaa, as well as Mr. Sam Harrod, who is the Kcaa of the Year. He's also joining us online. We want to put our arms around. I want you to think about how many foster youth are in our local communities. And when I say local communities, I mean how many foster youth are in LA, Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. In Los Angeles County, we have 20,651 foster youth. In Orange County, we have 2,389. In Riverside County, we have 4,700. In San Bernardino County, we have 4,800. And I have to tell you that these numbers provided by Kids Data come from 2014, and they are a little low from what we know to be true today. For example, in Los Angeles, we have data that indicates in 2015 that there were 27,000 foster youth in LA County alone. So if you could just put your arms around or think about that a little bit. Ultimately, what I'm saying to you today, listener, is in our community, we have about 31,000 foster youth. That's a lot of young men and young women who are in the care of our court system that for whatever reason, they are foster youth to this day. So then that takes us to why would they need a Kcaa and what is a Kcaa? Yes, every foster child does have a social worker, and that foster youth also has an attorney that works with them. But if you could ever talk to a social worker, you would know that their caseloads are tremendous. If you ever talk to a children's attorney, you would know that their caseload is tremendous, as well as all of the judges that serve in children's court. For example, some judges in children's court have 1,300 kids that are seen in their courts, as well as some attorneys service about 300 foster youth. So if you can imagine 300 young people, young little girls and little boys that have dynamic lives, and you're trying to manage and maintain that, you might need the help or you might want the help of a volunteer. So I want to introduce some people. They are online with us, and they are really a part of what I call my Kcaa family. I want to introduce you to Mr. Sam Harrod. Sam, are you on the line? Good afternoon, Sam. Are you with us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Welcome to Foster to Foster radio show, Sam. I introduce you to the listeners as the Kcaa of the Year. And so I'm going to take just a moment for our listening audience and tell you a little bit about Sam. Sam is very shy and a very humble volunteer. So if you don't mind, Sam, I'd like to tell them that Sam is a male Kcaa who at some points will have anywhere from 3 to 4 foster youth that he's advocating for as a Kcaa. Sam has been a Kcaa for how long, Sam?
15 years.
15 years. 15 years he served as a volunteer. And this year, Kcaa of Los Angeles got to celebrate our very own Kcaa of the Year. And indeed, that was you, Mr. Sam Herod. So welcome, Sam. Welcome to Foster Radio.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And now I'm going to bring online 2 of our other guests. We have the executive director of Kcaa, Dilys Tostin Garcia. Dilys, are you online?
I am.
Hi, Dilys, and welcome. Welcome to Foster radio show. We also We also have Cameron, and Cameron is responsible for volunteer recruitment there at the Kcaa office. Cameron, are you here online?
Good afternoon, Dr. McNeil.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Foster radio show. We're at the point where I want to introduce to our audience, what is Kcaa of Los Angeles? Dilys, could you help our listeners understand the organization Kcaa of Los Angeles?
Well, first and foremost, we are a nonprofit, and we mobilize community volunteers to serve as advocates for children who find themselves in the foster care system. And I think it might be interesting for people who haven't heard it before to know that Kcaa stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocate. So we work very closely as a nonprofit and a volunteer organization with the dependency court to get our volunteers assigned as child advocates, or Kcaas, as we fondly call them, to individual children who find themselves under jurisdiction of the dependency court.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dilys. So if you're a foster youth and you're listening to this show this afternoon, a Kcaa is your court-appointed special advocate. So what does that mean? That means that when you go to court one day, there will be a person that will refer you to Kcaa, and a Kcaa will be appointed to you. And then that Kcaa will begin to work with you. So for our listening audience, I want you to know that Kcaas are just more than just a volunteer. They are court appointed so that they can advocate on the behalf of foster youth. For the listening audience, I want to define advocate a little bit. If you work in different arenas in our community and you hear the word advocate, you may think of someone who's trying to work against you, or someone that's just a rock's throw from suing you in the court of law. And that is not the purpose of a court-appointed special advocate. We're really the people that go in the community and work with foster youth to sew away the empty gaps, to mend anything that's not working, to help things that could work better to work better. We are not the adversary of all of the agencies and departments that we work with. We're really an extra set of hands and eyes and motivation to help the foster youth have a better life. So I think that's really important for some listeners, especially if you work in certain arenas in the community. When you hear the word advocate, you really need to think in regards to Kcaa of Los Angeles and other Kcaa organizations. Advocate means helper. Advocate means aid. Advocate means an extra set of hands and eyes. So thank you for that introduction. When Sam, you're on the line with us, could you tell our listening audience what is Kcaa of Los Angeles to you as a volunteer?
Kcaa of Los Angeles for me, and what it means to me, is we could be there for kids that are neglected by their family, that have no one to speak for them. And what we do is we give them a voice. And the voice we give them is very important because a lot of times it steers their life because there's no one else talking for them. When you go to court as a child in foster care, you might get 5 to 10 minutes to determine what's going to happen in your life for the next 6 months. So it's important that somebody's there to speak for you, to help you define your voice, so they know, it's not they, but the judge knows what ruling to make that could change your life. I mean, there's the rulings that could change your life forever. And I think that's why we're so important, because we are the voice of that child.
That's wonderful. And Sam, you bring up an excellent point. For our listeners, if you could imagine that you are at a pivotal point and the adults are going to make a decision about your life, would you want someone in the court that only speaks for you? Someone that meets with you one-on-one and actually expresses to the court all the things that you would like to say to them. So having a voice in court is pivotal for foster youth. Oftentimes when you are a young person, adults speak for you or they may speak with you. The role of a Kcaa, a court-appointed special advocate, is to meet with you, just like your attorney will meet with you, and to express to the court those things that you would like to express to the court. So it's like being, in some states, they're called guardian ad litem's. So it's like being another person, another adult in the court to work with you. So if your social worker, if your attorney says to you that I would like to have a Kcaa work with you, that's what they're asking for. They're asking if we could have someone else sit in the court with you and help you to work with all of the different entities in your life. Dillis, how many children currently does Kcaa of Los Angeles serve?
We're serving almost 900 children a year. I think last year we served 867, I believe, over the course of a year.
Wonderful. And what is the current goal for Kcaa? How many children would we, Kcaa of Los Angeles, like to serve every year?
Well, we would like to serve every child, because I think we all agree that pretty much every child who finds themselves in the system could benefit from an advocate. We're hoping to serve 1,000 children in 2016, and we're hoping in the 5 years beyond that to get that number as high as 3,000 children served a year.
Oh,
that's our
awesome.
goal long term.
That is awesome. So for our listening audience, if you can imagine that there are 27,000 foster youth in Los Angeles County, and we have a goal of Kcaa of Los Angeles to serve 1,000. We need your help. We need more volunteers to come and help and be the voice of foster youth. We're headed to break right now. My name is Dr. Anissa McNeil. You're listening to Foster to Foster Radio Show. I do the work and I tell the stories of foster youth. Education Works is running a crowdfunding activity. If you would like to see foster youth receive the best education that they can receive, as well as provide scholarships to deserving foster youth so that they can attend college and trade school, go to our website at www.edworks4u.org. Give to our Foster Youth Education Services and our Unstoppable Foster Youth Awards, and help us help foster youth. Help us improve their lives.
Imagine that you're among the 4 out of 5 people who received help paying for quality health coverage through Covered California at the lowest possible cost. Imagine seeing a doctor for everyday aches and pains, unexpected emergencies, and preventative care. Imagine receiving help finding a health plan that's absolutely right for you and your family. Imagine not having to imagine.
Covered California. It's more than just health care. It's life care. Visit CoveredCA.com to find free, local, in-person help or enroll online by December 15th to have coverage by January 1st.
Education Works consulting firm provides foster youth education services. We work to make sure that every foster youth has a chance by providing a way through education. Please visit us at edworks4u.org or call our offices at 213-634-0044. Education works for all of us. Let's head back to Foster with your host, Dr. Anissa McNeil.
Welcome back to Foster Radio Show. Listeners, we left off by describing the number of children that are in foster care in Los Angeles County. We have about 27,000 children. And Kcaa of Los Angeles has volunteers and a staff that works to support and provide a volunteer for just about 900 children in Los Angeles. We have a goal of Kcaa of Los Angeles to provide services to about 1,000 children. As you can see, there's a great need for Kcaa. So Cameron is on the line with us. Cameron, could you describe to our listeners what is a Kcaa volunteer?
Absolutely. It is a person who is trained and supported by our staff. So we start off with a training of about 40 hours, and with that knowledge and after being paired with the child, the advocate will begin their work. They will start off by getting to know the child as well as possible, as well as reviewing materials about the child. So because they're an officer of the court, our volunteers have access to information that others that would be working with the child won't necessarily have. They will have access to school records as well as perhaps medical history, and that will provide a fuller picture about what's exactly happening in the child's life. There's a lot of variation because we work with children between the ages of 0 and 21, but one of the main goals is to address the issue of permanency. So where is the child living? Is the child living in an environment where they have the opportunities and the support that they need in order to thrive, tomorrow, 5 years from now, for the rest of their lives? And those are really the opportunities that our Kcaas have to make a powerful impact in the lives of the children that they work with. So they take the information that they get from the child sees them as a trusted, consistent adult figure in their lives, and then they also gather information from other people surrounding them. At least once every 6 months, Kcaa will be present at the child's court hearing. And so they're able to take all of that information that they've gathered and put that into a court report, which is then delivered to the judge. And this is a really important part of the role because it's something that takes it from mentorship and advocating within the community to having a real tangible impact in a different way as well. So this is an opportunity for a volunteer to make recommendations related to where the child lives, the child's schooling, what kind of services might the child need that the court can order. And therefore it's something that really has an opportunity to have a really important impact right at that time.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Cameron. Sam, can you share with our listening audience what has been some of the impact that you've seen working with foster youth in our community?
Well, it could be varied. I deal with mostly what we call emancipation youth. The young people are about to exit the system. I like to work with them from 16 on up to 21. In the state of California, we can care for kids under a law we passed called AB 12 till 21. And I've been able to get kids something as simple as getting them yearbooks where there was no money for like a yearbook, to help them get college scholarships, help them get something that we take for granted like driving lessons. We advocate for stuff like that, and as Cameron said, we do it through court orders. A lot of times in a child's life are things that you need and you expect to have from high school you don't always get when you're in foster care. A lot of these kids don't have pictures. We think of photos as on our mantles when we go to our family's house, we see our graduation photos. But that's big for a foster youth. That's huge because a lot of them don't have pictures from their childhood. And when they get photos from like graduation or important events in high school, or even a high school yearbook, is so important. And I think these are little things, but they are big things if you're a child.
Absolutely.
So we work on things like that. One of the things that I'm really proud of is be able to give the kids a helping hand to make that transition from high school, and if they want to go to college, or go to a trade school, and just help them find their way in life. It's very important we don't have parents.
Absolutely. And if you're listening and you can hear Sam speak so passionately about being the volunteer that's standing in the bridge, imagine your own children. And imagine the amount of assistance that they needed from you as they graduated from high school and they began to walk this road or this path to adulthood. I can just tell you as a parent, my oldest son is graduating from high school this year, and he still needs 110% of my efforts to help him transition into manhood successfully. Can you imagine what that would be like without a parent? Could you imagine what that transition would be like without a Kcaa? Can you imagine trying to navigate all of the requirements of being an adult on your own? Would you have any fear? Would you trust everything that all the individuals said to you? Do you think that some individuals in our society could use and abuse you and take your naivete for their advantage? So that's why a Kcaa, especially at the age where Sam works, is so important. Dillis, would you like to share a little bit about the impact of a Kcaa on the life of a child?
A Kcaa can have impact on so many things, but the first and foremost thing is that when a child has been removed and separated from their family for reasons of abuse or neglect, they're really wrenched, and they often don't fully understand what's happening or why. And I think that when a person shows up and just makes the statement that that child is worthwhile, the attention, the care, championing, just that statement of an adult showing up for a child in need does an enormous amount for the child's self-esteem, for their empowerment, for their self-worth. And I think it builds from there. The Kcaa as an adult is able to make a difference in the child's medical care, in the educational attention that they're getting, making sure that they're doing as well as they can in school and that they have everything that they need for that. A Kcaa will check out and make sure that the foster placement is in fact a safe and secure place and a good match for that child. Everything that you would concern yourself about in your own child's life, a Kcaa will be looking out for how their Kcaa child is doing and letting the court know if anything specific is needed for that child to really thrive while they're in care.
Absolutely. And I want to share with our listening audience one of my very own Kcaa stories that I'm so very pleased to have this opportunity. As a Kcaa, I began working with a young person who was 3 years behind graduating from high school. I got appointed as her court-appointed special advocate, and I was able to work with every school, her new school, and as well as advocate for her to have other support services so that she graduated from high school on time. Not only did she graduate from high school on time, but she was able to go on and go to a community college. That's the difference of being a non-grad and not being able to find a job to being able to go on to community college and having a small part-time job. The work that we do as a Kcaa, our ability to work with the court and every agency within the court building really is the power to help change and support someone's life. And each and every foster child is worth it. So if you're out there, if you're listening to Foster to Foster radio show today and you can hear the sound of my voice, if you have a passion to help children and you say, Dr. McNeil, I think I can do that. I want to be a part of the Kcaa family. Please give our Kcaa office a call. Cameron, can you tell our listeners how they can contact our office?
Absolutely. You can reach us at 323-859-2888, and my extension is 6320. I would be more than happy to share with people about how they can become a Kcaa and what the roles and responsibilities are of the volunteer position. We also regularly hold information sessions throughout the county, many of them at our office here, and that's an opportunity for people to hear from staff as well as from an experienced volunteer. Sometimes it's Sam even, who will share from their own experience so that people can have their questions answered before they apply.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Cameron. If you're listening and you're thinking, okay, Dr. McNeil, this may be a lot. I'm going to be appointed by the court, then I'm going to be charged to put all of these things in place for a child. I'm not sure if I know how to do that. I've never worked in a court before. You are not alone. You will be a part of the Kcaa of Los Angeles family. And I've been there for over a decade, and I do call it a Kcaa of Los Angeles family. And why do I say that? If you are a volunteer, you will be assigned a Kcaa supervisor or a staff member of Kcaa. Dillis, can you tell us a little bit about the role of the Kcaa supervisor?
So we have senior program coordinators that are professionals, people with seasoned experience in case management, counseling, a variety of backgrounds, but equipped to really help guide volunteers in their advocacy. So a volunteer always has a person to go to with questions, or if they just need support in thinking something through, or someone to brainstorm with. The children often are in difficult family situations, and it really is helpful to have someone who has experienced a lot of different situations in the system to kind of bring some perspective to the volunteer.
Absolutely. And I can tell you that as a Kcaa volunteer, my senior program coordinators have been so supportive. You, as a Kcaa, you're never alone. And not only do you have a direct senior program coordinator, but we have a wonderful staff there at Kcaa of Los Angeles. And I'll tell you, listener, from my own personal experience, when I walk through the door of Kcaa, I am laughing, I'm smiling, I'm joking with the staff members there. And I affectionately call it my Kcaa family, because any problem that I may have, any success story that I want to share, any information, Kcaa of Los Angeles also provides trainings and in-services to volunteers. So you're never on an island by yourself. And it makes the role of the volunteer not only a wonderful experience, but you feel very supported. And I'm not saying that you think, well, Dr. McNeil, yeah, you're saying that because you've been there for a while. And you probably know that once you've been with the organization for a long time, not only do you know the organization, but for us to walk away, for Sam and I to be there 10 years plus and to walk away and have such a wonderful experience, I hope that you'll hear that is Kcaa of Los Angeles is a very good place to go and to work on the behalf of foster youth. We're headed to a break right now. My name is Dr. Anissa McNeil. I do the work and I tell the stories of foster youth.
Education Works consulting firm provides foster youth education services. We work to make sure that every foster youth has a chance by providing a way through education. Please visit us at edworks4u.org or call our offices at 213-634-0044. Education works for all of us.
Moreno Valley schools have more vocational education programs for students. Find out more in the Moreno Valley City News. You can also find local business, sports, and entertainment news. The Moreno Valley News in print and online at MorenoValleyCityNews.com.
Would you like to give an opportunity for a foster youth to attend a college or a trade school? Join our crowdfunding effort at educationworksforyou.org. We are providing scholarships for foster youth titled the Unstoppable Awards. The Unstoppable Awards are meant for foster youth that are high school graduating seniors who desire the opportunity to attend a college or trade school. And they have overcome some tremendous hurdles. Join us, help us raise funds, and help us send foster youth to trade school, college, or a university. Give and be a part of our crowd donation today. Visit our website at www.edworks4u.org.
Jumping into Foster to Foster with your host, Dr. Anissa McNeil.
Welcome back to Foster Radio Show. We have Dillis Tostin Garcia and Cameron from our Kcaa of Los Angeles office, as well as we have the Kcaa Volunteer of the Year, Mr. Sam Herod. I want you to, just for a moment, express the need that we have currently in Los Angeles to have more Kcaa volunteers. And I'd like to start with you, Cameron, because Cameron works directly in our Kcaa Volunteer and Recruitment Office. Cameron, can you talk a little bit about our current wait list and the need that we have for more volunteers?
Yeah, absolutely. We are regularly receiving children as referrals, and we at any one time have over 100 children who are waiting for a Kcaa volunteer to be paired with. And many of those children are the age that Sam is working with, 14 and older. But we do also have an emphasis on early childhood between the ages of 0 and 5, as well as between 5 and 12. So we cover the entire gamut, and the children who are on our wait list are also representing those different age groups. We are always looking to recruit new volunteers and find people who are passionate and capable of doing, dedicating this their time and energy to this volunteer experience. And we are trying to get approximately 35 new people every month. So if someone's hearing this and is interested, you are needed.
Wonderful. Dillis, can you tell us a little bit from the director's seat? What is the current need for a volunteer?
Well, we desperately want more people to come and join us in providing advocacy for children. We're very proud of almost 500 extraordinary folks who show up every day for these kids. But the reality is that with just 4 or 5 hours a week, which is about 20 hours a month, you can do an enormous amount and have great impact on a child's life. And it doesn't take that much time. And we ask volunteers to visit. We ask volunteers to be in touch with the medical people and the teachers and social workers, lawyers. But you have a lot of control over when you do that. And it really is far easier, I think, to find the time once you meet a child and you're clear what their needs are. It really draws the activists, I think, out in all of us. And what we would like to do over the course of the next couple of years is double the number of volunteers that we have working with children. And for that, we need a lot of people in the community to come join us. It's an extraordinary community of people who care deeply about children and youth and their families, because a lot of these children some of them end up moving on into adoptive homes or into some legal guardianship with relatives, but many of them also end up reunified with their families of origin. And in the end, we're trying to strengthen families.
Wonderful. Sam, you and I have a hands on the ground kind of view because we actively serve as Kcaa volunteers. Mm-hmm. As you work with foster youth in the community and you arrive at Children's Court in the same manner that I arrived there, what would you say to express the need to have more Kcaa volunteers?
Well, first of all, we have so many kids in the system here in Los Angeles. It's more than some cities in the country. We right now have, I think the current number you said was like 28,000 plus. So when you go to children's court, you see 4 to 5 floors of young people waiting to hear, to have their hearing, their day in court. It's hard to believe that something like this is actually going on in the city of Los Angeles. It's really hard to comprehend. And that's why it's important to have volunteers that are really willing to step in and be that gap, as you say. There's a lot of times, me especially, is when I show up to court and I check in, people treat me like I'm a movie star, the people in the court, the bailiff, because they know my job and they know how important it is because they're there every day. And when the judge sees a Kcaa on the case, they look at you like you're a superhero. But, you know, our real job is, to me, is cutting red tape. We get to the core of the matter for the judge. We give him a look at the case that they might not get from anywhere else in this child's life. And one of the things that Kcaa Los Angeles has installed is we always ask the child what they want. What do they want in their life? And that's what's important, is what they want. And just to hear us tell the judge what this child says, because a lot of times the children get in court and they get shy because it's their ordeal. They might not remember or say what they want to say, but we have a chance to ask them that question in another setting and talk to them, and so we can express that. Even though, I mean, no matter what it is, they might want to go back to their family. They might want to play football. They might want to join a team at school, or and if it's an infant, especially younger kids, they don't have a voice. That's when Kcaa is really important from 0 to 5, Carmen said, because a 2 or 3 and a 4-year-old can't express themselves in court. I personally work with older kids that are really good at expressing themselves, but when you have younger youth, they really don't have a voice, and that's why it's real important to have a Kcaa. And I could just tell the people out there listening, if you can find it in your heart to give a time to be a Kcaa, it's not that difficult, as they said. The staff is excellent. They will answer all your questions to help you go through your case, to help you stand there. If you want to, they'll come up to court and sit next to you. But once you get your legs underneath you, you'll see the importance, and you'll be up there advocating for kids and just getting the job done for them. And that's what's important, is getting their voice out there. And for me, just to be, it's an honor. It's an honor to serve these kids, because there's no other gift like it. There's no other. It's not financial reward. It's the reward of what you see in their life, that they're able to move on, move forward, no matter what their situation is. Right. You turn a bad situation
Absolutely.
into a great situation. Very easy, just by showing up.
Absolutely. And for me, it's not only is it a joy, an honor, and a privilege, but being a former foster youth, I know the difference that having people in your life that advocate and want the very best for you is the difference between night and day. I have made a promise to myself that I will always be a Kcaa volunteer, because I do not want to be the only Dr. McNeil, the doctor whoever, to come out of children's court. When I look in children's court, I see young girls that are just like myself. I see young boys that are just like my brother. And I know, too, that they could have a great life if only they had someone to really advocate for them on a personal level. And like Sam said, we have the opportunity to meet with them outside of court and to drill down to the heart of the matter. Is it true? Do you really want to play football? Do you want to be on the volleyball team? Okay, you want to do both. You want to play basketball and football. And it's providing those opportunities and having that one person to encourage you. If you look at all the data in regards to foster youth, you'll see that connectedness, being connected to an individual, is the one thing that helps most foster youth overcome some of the challenges that they have. So I make a personal plea to everyone that's listening to this story. If you have a heart, a mind, or if you say, Dr. McNeil, I want to get involved, wonderful. Won't you get involved to help a child who does not have the opportunity or the privilege to have their parent help them? Would you help a family reunite that's struggling to reunite? If you've ever had any struggles or challenges in your life, could you not have used a helping hand? Why don't you join us? Be that helping hand. Be the person that can fill the gap for a foster youth. When we come back from this commercial break, we're going to tell you some of the wonderful things that are happening in the office of Kcaa of Los Angeles. Please be sure to join us. My name is Dr. McNeil, and you're listening to Foster to Foster Radio Show. Join Education Works consulting firm. Provide scholarships to foster youth. If you want to help us provide opportunities for foster youth that are graduating from high school and have a GPA of 2.8 to 3.2 and have the ability to attend a trade school, college, or university, help us provide those scholarships and donate to our crowdfunding. Visit us at www.edworks4u.org and help us make foster youth unstoppable.
Education Works consulting firm provides foster youth education services. We work to make sure that every foster youth has a chance by providing a way through education. Please visit us at edworks4u.org or call our offices at 213-634-0044. Education works for all of us. Here's Foster to Foster with your host, Dr. Anissa McNeil.
Hi, welcome back to Foster Radio Show. And I'm on the line today with Sam Harrod, who is the Kcaa of the Year, Dillis Garcia, who is the Executive Director, and Cameron, who is responsible for our volunteer recruitment. And at this point, I want to talk about what are some of the activities that happen in the Kcaa of Los Angeles office that helps to provide all the funding needed to service foster youth in LA? Dillis, can you describe some of the activities and events that happen in that office?
Absolutely. So we have a group that, under Cameron's leadership, does outreach and all of the initial information sessions for people interested in becoming volunteers. And so if folks want to learn more about that, they can go online at kcaala.org and see the schedule of meetings that we have at the office and also out in the community, where people can learn in a short 1-hour session. They can learn a lot about what it takes to become a volunteer. A large part of what goes on at the office is volunteer-oriented. Volunteers are coming in and out all day long, and staff is here to provide them with support. We do a lot of training, a lot of continuing training, continuing education once people have completed their initial pre-service training. And in order to support everything that we do here, we have a development team that goes out into the community and helps us raise the money. We are 100% nonprofit, and we pretty much raise every dollar we spend to serve children. And we have many events throughout the year that are open to the public, and we invite folks to support. I'm thinking of the Justice Jog that we recently had in September, where all sorts of folks in the community and from corporate sponsors and legal firms came out to do a 5K in Century City, and we raised almost $100,000 in really pretty much a one-day event from community supporters all across the county. We also, well, Anissa, you probably could speak to the activity that we do called Glamour Gowns and Suit Up, where we provide formal wear for youth in foster care. There's a lot of activity that goes on around raising funding so that we can then provide a great event in the spring and make sure that youth have everything they need to go to their prom. We hold a gala in the spring also to raise money. So there's often some kind of activity going on somewhere in the community devoted to galvanizing support and getting more people involved as volunteers and also as donors.
Absolutely. I want to pick up a little bit on what Dillis just talked about, our Justice Jog that happened this year in September. To all of my fellow runners out there, if I see you at different marathons throughout LA County or in our city, I want you to join me at Justice Jog. This year we had various teams come out, and we ran a simple 5K to raise money for foster youth in the beautiful city of Century City. The route is a great route, and it's a great way for Kcaa to raise money to support the work that we do for foster youth. So if you are a runner and you say, well, Dr. McNeil, that's where I can jump in. Anissa, I can jump in right there. I love to run. I will do the 5K. Join us for the Justice Jog. And as Dillis was saying, every year, a committee that I'm the co-chair of, Glamour Gown and Suit Up, we have the wonderful joy of providing everything that young foster youth need in order to attend the prom. We do that for young women as well as young men. And I have to tell you, it's not only a transformational event for the foster youth, but it's a transformational event for all of the committee members, as well as all of the volunteers in the community that come out to support Glamour Gown and Suit Up each year. This year, our event will be on April 8th and 9th at the LA Convention Center. And why should you get involved with Glamour Gowns and Suit Up? Glamour Gowns, typically I'll tell you, I've been a part of this for quite a number of years. And typically we see a foster youth that will come to the event. They're expecting to get something that's used, that's slightly worn, that someone else is going to pick out for them and say, please go off to the prom. They are elated to know that when they get there, they are assigned a personal shopper. They get to choose the dress, a brand new dress that they would like, choose shoes and undergarments and jewelry, a purse, and then we have seamstresses to make the dress fit you. Many of them have never had anyone pay attention to the level of clothing and tailor the clothing to fit just them only. Oftentimes, I tell you, every year that I volunteered, there has not been one year that I have not cried and been so overjoyed to be a part of this event. But to put Glamour Gowns on, Kcaa of Los Angeles and the Glamour Gown Committee, we put on annually a day at the races at the Santa Anita racetrack. And we asked all of those who support Glamour Gowns and Suit Up and Kcaa of Los Angeles to join us at the day of the races in order to raise the necessary funds so that we can buy all the suits and ties and dress shirts and belts and prom dresses so that day at the LA Convention Center this year will be a wonderful day for foster youth. And if any of you can remember how you felt on the day of your prom, how much attention you paid to your prom dress and the shoes and your makeup, you'll know how special that event is. But it's not just the event of giving them or the act of giving them a prom dress or a suit for the event. It's how they feel knowing that a large group of individuals came out to pay attention to only them. Oftentimes what we hear at that event is, oh my goodness, all these people came out just for us? Absolutely, is what I say. And I always tell them that you're worth it. So as you can see, Kcaa of Los Angeles has wonderful events to raise money to provide services to foster youth. If you're listening to this radio show and you say, Dr. McNeil, I don't have the time right now in order to volunteer, consider donating. Visit the website. Go to www.kcaala.org and provide a donation. Help us do the work to support foster youth in our community. And Sam, you had an opportunity to come out to Glamour Gown and Suit Up. And Sam was a part of our very first event to provide suits to young men. Sam, can you talk a little bit about your experience at the Glamour Gown Suit Up event?
Yeah, I can. One of the young men that actually came out and was kind of like got the first suit was one of my young men, and he loved it. He couldn't believe all the new suits that were provided, but not just suits, socks, belts, ties, shirts, and the professionals there to help him put it together. He walked around the convention center all day.
Yes.
With his new suit on, and he still has it today. He wears it for interviews, what's most important. He not only got to wear it that day to the prom, but he uses it for jobs interviews now that he's out of high school. So I couldn't tell you the amount. I was so surprised of what you guys did a great job of getting the young men involved, because you guys have been doing the young ladies for years, and to see the looks on their face, and now you're throwing in the young men, I think it's a great addition, I tell you. And I can't emphasize enough to your audience that their donations help to make this happen. And like Dr. McNeil said, if you don't have the time, if you can't put forth the time, a donation goes a long way to help our organization, to help us do what we do best.
Absolutely. And I will be remiss if I did not mention the wonderful annual May Gala of Kcaa of Los Angeles. If you could join us this year at our May Gala, that's our major fundraising event to raise dollars for foster youth. Again, if you visit www.kcaala.org, you will see when the tickets are available for our May Gala. You will be able to provide a donation to the organization. Today, I want to just plead a call of action. If you can get involved, if you can become a volunteer, please join our Kcaa family. If you don't have the time to get involved, please join the wonderful people in our community that donate to us annually, or to donate to us to provide the work and the services to foster youth. We truly do appreciate all that you do, and all that your gift of your donation, and especially your gift of your time, will do for Kcaa of Los Angeles. Dillis, Cameron, and Sam, I want to thank you for joining me today. Thank you for joining our listening audience here on Foster to Foster Radio Show. I'm Dr. Anissa McNeil. I do the work, and I tell the stories of foster youth. Thank you.
Brought to you by Covered California. It's more than just healthcare, it's life care. Visit coveredca.com to enroll by December 15th to have coverage by January 1st.
Did you know here at KCAA 1050 AM that we developed an app for all your Android devices? We're talking about your smartphone, your tablets, you name it. You have an Android format, you can take KCAA with you everywhere you go. We're talking about our audio stream, our video stream, and even our podcast. Go to kcaaexpress.com. That's kcaaexpress.com. kcaaexpress.com.
This is KCAA Loma Linda, the station that leaves no listener behind. CNBC News is next, a courtesy of BuySellMakeOffer.com, where you can post a video about items you have for sale. Sign up now. It's free.
I'm Tom Busby, CNBC Radio. For the first time in 3 decades, hundreds of union workers are on strike at a Wisconsin headquarters of Kohler, the company best known for its kitchen and bath faucets. That's after rejecting the company's latest contract offer. On Wall Street today, stocks soaring higher. The Dow up 237 points, the Nasdaq up 56, with defense contractors and energy companies leading the gains following the Paris terror attacks. Marriott will soon become the world's biggest hotel owner. That's after agreeing to take over rival chain Starwood, the owner